Hi guys, it's Dakota. It's Tuesday and I normally post on Mondays, and I did. I posted yesterday. The video was All Things Alter Part 1, Alter Setup Part 1, and I had mentioned that I would either finish it today or next week, and I've decided to go ahead and just get this done today so that we don't, lose the flow. So if you haven't watched the video, you might want to go check that out. It's sort of a precursor to what I'm going to talk about today. I don't want to cover everything that I covered yesterday. It was a fairly long video, as are most of mine, and I don't know. I'm going to stop apologizing for that. It's just the way I am. So today, what I want to cover, as I had mentioned, though, in part 1, was that, and some of you already know, and some of you may not, but I do have the metaphysical store, and I get the customers that come in almost daily and ask about, they're new, they don't know what to put on their altar, how to set up their altar, what kind of tools they should have, etc., etc., and I discuss that in part 1. One of the other questions that I get asked, though, as part of that is, a lot of people, they cannot practice at their home, or they can't have an altar at their house because they're not quite out yet, or maybe they've tried to come out and family has said, you're not doing that in this house, or for whatever reason, they just are not comfortable having an altar out all the time, and that's perfectly fine. So what do we do in those cases? And so I'm going to talk about, I call them portable altars. The altar that is something that you can put away. Now, if you have all the tools, if you have all the items, if you have the chalice, and you have a little cauldron, and you have an incense burner, and you have your athame or athame, however you would like to pronounce that. I hear it both ways. I just don't, I think it's like, if you're from one county to the next, people pronounce things differently. I don't know. If you have your bell, if you have your wand, all of those things, well, then it becomes kind of hard to hide those things, or where are you going to put those things where they're not seen in the house if you don't want someone to find that. If you're still living at home and the parents say no, or your significant other says no, or you don't want your children to see that and to be a part of that right now. So we're going to talk about the portable altar, as I like to refer it. Well, you can use any kind of vessel, basically, that will hold items that aren't big, huge items. So this is an example. My friend gave me this last Samhain, and it was cute, so I thought I would use that. I just grabbed it today. It's just a little cute Halloween box, but this is a good example. Now, Michael's or Hobby Lobby or any of your arts and crafty stores out there, they will carry plain boxes that don't have any design. They carry boxes that have design. I mean, it's just, there's unlimited access as to what you can do, but you could get a plain box, you can paint it, you can decoupage it, you could glue flowers, charms, whatever you want on it. You can do whatever you want to the box and make it yours. And then inside the box is where you're going to keep your items that you can use for a portable altar. And what I mean, let me adjust this. What I mean by that portable altar is that something that a place where you can put all of your items and have them accessible to you in a different place than a permanent altar, or an altar in the home where you can't have one of those. So if that means in the woods somewhere, or maybe you have to go to the beach, or whatever, portable. things, a box where you can put things that can represent your altar that you need to take. Or if you don't, you maybe it's not in your budget to have the tools, no problem. And you just can't have the tools. That's what I'm trying to say. What can you have then on your altar that will represent the things that you would like to have on your altar? So that is what we're talking about. All right, so one of the things, and you've probably seen them on YouTube, I know I have, there's lots of videos on the travel altar, or as I think is what I call it a portable altar. And tins, T-I-N-S, tins are great. So here we have the tin that is as big as my palm. That's as big as it is, and it's only about maybe an inch or so deep, and this one happens to be round. Mine is, I'm afraid, I think it's at the shop. I think I used it for a class to show my portable altar and the things that you can put in it and how it can be used as an altar. So I didn't have that, but it's a little, I want to say it's probably an Altoids tin. You know, it's like 3 inches big, just a little square tin. We've all seen them. I think the lid is hinged. Most likely the lid is hinged. This one is not. So this one pops off. And this came from Trader Joe's. It had chocolate espresso beans in it. Yummy. And so this one is not hinged. But if it was hinged, okay, so then it would open up and you would have this nice little background. But even though this one is not hinged, you can still use this. You could take this and maybe you could print out, or if you find a really nice picture that you like, you could glue it to this, or you could just set up the picture against it. You can glue whatever you want onto it, paint it with whatever. If you're doing a moon ritual, maybe something that represents the moon up against your lid, the lid. So it makes a nice little backdrop to this portable altar. Now, like I said, this is a round altar, and it's only about, seriously, I mean, it's just seriously about an inch deep. So I'm going to cover that right now. All right, so what I have, and I just pulled this up today, or I actually pulled it up yesterday because I thought I would do this yesterday, but I didn't have enough time. So what I did is, what do I like in my portable? What do I use? What do I use, and what do I think I'm going to need? And if I can't, let's say I can't practice at home. Let's say I can't have an altar at home, and so I have to go somewhere else. And I'm doing, you know, last month I did a ritual or a magical working for the full moon. So my supplies that I put in my little tin would be different than the supplies that I might put in my tin for, say, the summer solstice, perhaps. So then you're going to have to, when you have the time, be able to pre-put your stuff in your tin and have it ready to go. Put it in your safe place, your hiding spot, whatever you need, until you're ready to take it with you. So in this one, I had pre-mixed some herbs. In my little bags of herbs, or herbs that I make incense for the shop as well, and I make herbs for my personal practice. And I do not like the smell of burning dried herbs. Just like I don't like the smell of burning sage. I love the smell of the dried herbs. I love the smell of sage, but not when it's burning. I just don't like that smell. But I use it. So what I do in my incense is, if I'm using the dried, I will use incense powder or resin. So this one I threw in some resin in it as well, so it wouldn't be so, you know, stinky. So there's my little bag of herbs. Fits right in my tin. Next, let's talk about candles, because I use candles. I'm going to put the lid to the side for now. All right, so I use candles. All right, the candle that I have two kinds of candles that I use, two candles that I really like, that I like to use. And so a lot of times my little tin, both of these items will fit in your tin. I like to use a tea light. One of the reasons is it comes with its own holder. So I don't have to then think about, oh, I need a holder for my tea light, and it has to fit in my tin. The tea light candle comes with its own holder, and it fits right in your tin. And once you take everything out of your tin, because I don't like to set tea lights right on a surface, like I never put my tea lights on my altar, like just directly on my altar cloth or directly on a table. I don't do that. I put it on a saucer or something safe, because this gets really hot. It gets really hot, and so it can, fire hazard. To remember that. But what I like about the tea lights is, one is, like I said, I work with the herbs. So what do I do with the herbs? I like to sprinkle some of the herbs into my candle magic. And so you can sprinkle a few herbs onto the top of the candle. I'm going to put my candle inside my little tin, put the herbs around inside the tin, or on top of my candle, or around the candle on the inside of the tin. No mess. Also, herbs can pop, and so that the bowl kind of helps keep things within, and so you don't light things on fire. The other candle that I really like to use are the birthday candles, only I like to use the beeswax birthday candles. One is they're natural, and two is they don't melt. Typically, they don't melt. Sometimes I have found that these do melt. It depends, I think, on the breeze, right? On if you have a fan going or something. If you're outdoors, the fire tends to blow to one side or the other, and it will melt down on one side. And I have had these drip. I have, but not like the birthday candles. We all know that the birthday candles melt on the cake. So if you use birthday candles, and there's nothing wrong with that, that's fine. Use a birthday candle, but then well, then that's one other thing. I have to think about the holder for the birthday candle. But no, you don't, because here's my trick. I light the candle, and I go like this, and I'll put a couple of drops of wax in the bottom of my tin, and then I take the candle and I stick it into the wax, into the melted wax, and I wait for the wax to dry, which takes a couple of seconds. Boom, my candle is now standing straight up. Oh, look, I didn't even have to go on this one. Whoops. So it sticks right on. The candle, the melted wax will act as a candle holder for your candle. That serves a couple of purposes. One is this now becomes your candle holder. The wax holds the candle. You can sprinkle your herbs around on the inside of your jar so that there's no mess. If this drips, or if you have a birthday candle and it drips inside your tin instead of all over your altar cloth or your table. Easy cleanup. My herbs, I'll squish them. I like the beeswax. They're a little sticky, kind of, like not sticky, but they're sort of, I don't know, they're sticky-ish. And so the herbs, I'll put some out and just roll the candle in it, and so the herbs stick like the candle. But the popping, the herbs will pop. So if I put it in the thing, that's where the lid comes in handy. It helps to deflect some of that sparking. Now in my portable altar, I have two of these because, as I said, I do work with the God and Goddess energy, or the feminine masculine energy. I've never found a statue that will fit in one of these boxes, that is for sure. So what can I use? Well, I use stones. These happen to be my favorite stones to use in my portable altar. These are Moki marbles, and you'll see one is larger than the other. One is masculine energy and one is feminine energy. So these work great. I'll put the two candles in I only have one because I just pulled it from the house. I'll put the two candles in here to represent the God and the Goddess. And then I take the two stones, and I lay those in front of each candle that's representing the god and the goddess. So there's other stones that have the masculine and feminine energy as well. So you don't have to use Moki marbles. I just happen to like them, so that's what I used. You don't have to use stones at all. You can use something else if you want. Don't have to, but that's just an option there. All right, it's almost like a must. I must have incense burning. Whether I'm doing devotions or whether I'm doing magic, I like to have incense burning. I think it's pleasing to the gods, to the universe, to the higher source, whatever you want to call it. I think it's pleasing. And different incense puts me in a different frame of mind as well. Again, it's a tool. Sort of helps keep me focused on what I'm doing. And we all know that stick incense is pretty long, and and then you have to have a holder for your incense. Now, cone incense, some people will throw a cone incense in there, but then you do have to have something to burn that cone on, because I would not trust to just burn the cone on this. I think that that's going to get too hot. I've never tried it, but for me personally, I think it's going to get too hot, and I would be afraid that it would scorch something or burn something. I don't feel like it's very safe to me. So then if I'm going to use a cone, then I have to think about something to use that's going to be safe to hold the cone. So what I like is I use Morning Star incense for my portable altars. First of all, it smells divine. This is cedar wood, one of my favorites. Use it all the time. This is cedar wood by Morning Star. See, the Morning Star incense comes with this little tile. It comes with it. This is the incense holder. So you get a free incense holder. This fits. Look, it's as big as my thumb. It's flat. It fits right into your little holder. The thing that I like about Morning Star is the whole incense itself, there is no stick. The whole stick is incense. It's somewhat fragile, so it breaks very easily. So you can they're about 5 inches long, maybe something like that, and 4 or 5 inches long. So you can just take it, because it's not going to fit in your tin. It's just not going to fit in your tin. So you can break it in half, break it in 3 pieces, however you want, and just lay it in your tin. And then when you're ready to use it, you pull out your little incense holder, and it sticks right in there, and now you have your incense holder. And I prefer to use the tin for it, because the only thing that I don't like about that is, it has a little hole in the bottom. However, I will say this. I personally, and I have been using Morning Star for years, I have never, ever had a Morning Star incense burn all the way through and down and burn my table. Ever. It sort of stops at the tile. But just in case, we're working with fire. Fire can be erratic. Has a mind of its own sometimes. So unless fire is contained, it's not safe. That's how I feel. So if it's in this, it's not safe. So then I will place this. I place this on my tin. I have my 2 candles behind it. Here's my incense. I have my 2 candles behind it. Right? Let me see if I can do this. I've got all of my incense and stuff. I have my stones on the outside or inside. It doesn't matter. And then this would be my backdrop. With my picture of my goddess or the moon or whatever you want. And then when I'm done, or before I even start, I just put everything. There's the incense in there. I have a little piece that's broken in there already. Right there. See? And then there's my candle. Here's the tile. Here's my tea light. Let's put the Moki marbles in there first. There's my stones. Here's my incense. Well, it is my incense, my herbs. And voila. Portable altar has everything that I need. Does it have a wand? No. Does it have an athame or thame? No. Where's the power coming from? Right here. It has everything that I need. It has everything that you would need. Be creative, get out of the box, create your own. These little tins are easily hidden, and I hate to use that word, easily disguised. You can put this somewhere where no one can find it. That's a better way of putting it. Put it in a shoebox. Put it in a pocket in one of your coats in your closet. Put it in a drawer. Put it, wherever you feel whatever you feel and wherever you feel you need to do with it. Very, very easy to use. That's our discussion for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Comment below, subscribe, share, and be kind this week to everyone. And I will see you next Monday. Bye, guys.